3, 2, 1, and we are live. All right, how you doing, friends? This is Ernie with the 0 Days to Expiration. Although today's episode, which is going to be episode number 88, today's episode is not just 0 days to expiration, but 0 hour to expiration. Now, notice I didn't say hours, because there's only one 0 hour on the path to expiration when you're talking about this particular strategy. And that's the very final hour of the day from 3 p.m. until 4 p.m. Eastern. So how is that different than 0 days to expiration? As you know, we practice something that we call the inversion of risk.
Incoming chat.
Let's see, we'll turn incoming chat off there. We practice something called inversion of risk. And what that means is that all of our trades are based on an asymmetric principle. And we want that asymmetry to be in our favor. In other words, we want the risk to be very, very small and the reward or potential reward to be very, very large. This is very, very important. And the bigger that we can make that ratio, the better. Now, of course, when we have a whole day to do it, we're trying to get in and out in as little time spent in the market as possible with as much potential profit, and also the rate at which profit grows, we would like that to be as big as possible too. And we have ways that we can do that. And we use various tools to help us position ourselves the right way or put ourselves in the path of the greatest probability of profit while trying to get the best rate of return or return on risk. Now, all of that kind of comes together. We use volume profile as our way to analyze the market structure. The market structure is extremely important to us because that gives us where support and resistance lie, where the opportunities are, and also it provides us a way of creating scenarios of where we think price is going to go for the day. Now, of course, you cannot have a market structure and create scenarios without at least some understanding of the energies that are coming into the market. What is behind price? Is it pushing it in a certain direction? Is it pushing it bullish, bearish, or is there something where it's range bound? We want to know all those things because once we've applied that, then we can use our market structure analysis to figure out at least 2 scenarios where price is likely to go. From there, we can then model that idea using options. And our favorite go-to option is, or option strategy, is the butterfly. With the butterfly, we can create the kind of profit curve that has the kind of characteristics during its growth that we like the best. So it is a directional strategy. Excuse me. It is a directional strategy. However, we can't rely on price always going in our direction. So we're using another concept that we call probability of touch. And that gives us an edge on how we place our strategy, because we're not really banking on us getting right in the middle of that profit tent so that we can pin the tail on the donkey. We'd love that, but that only happens about 10 or 15% of the time. We have to be a little bit more open to different things happening. So if we can make money, profit, by just being in the right place at the right time, using this probability of touch concept, then that's good. And that often results in our bread and butter trade where we can return anywhere from 100 to 250% on our risk. Occasionally, we get full cooperative action from the market. It does exactly what we want it to do, and we end up in the profit tent, and sometimes right at the short strikes of the butterfly, which can sometimes return us as much as 800, 1,000, even 1,500% return on our risk. And like I said, that's a minority of the times that it happens, but that's okay. There's a wide spectrum of possible outcomes that can happen between that and being outside the profit tent. So anyways, that's everything about 0 DTE. Again, we want to put a trade on sometime maybe in the morning after economic reports, maybe right after the market opens. Sometimes we wait a little longer for volatility to settle out and then get it off as quickly as we can. And if the market is cooperative, we'll stick with it to the end of the day with hopes of getting that pinned trade. Now we have such a trade on today, and it looks like we're going to get that pinned trade. Now, there is a second trade that we've been practicing for the past few weeks, and we need a lot more data before we develop a really solid strategy around this. But we noticed that there's a great opportunity and there's a great deal of premium left in the market in the very last hour of the market's existence or of that contract's existence. And it's incredible just how much premium is available. I thought I turned that off. Well, turn that off. All right. Thank you very much. That very last hour has incredible opportunity. And the reason why is that it's only an hour. We only have to predict where price will be in some sort of range of prices in actually what is less than an hour, because we'll do all of our analysis prior to 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, then we'll start looking for that opportunity, and then we'll place our trade. And it could be anywhere from a few minutes past 3 as late as 20 minutes of 4. And so what we're really looking for is to be in that market for up to, say, 45 minutes or so, right until the expiration. Sometimes we're in and out with a nice little profit. And what we've found is that we're able to return an incredible amount of money because there's so much premium left there. And compared to our more sedate trade that we make in the beginning of the day, it's a lot more exciting too, because volatility tends to kick up right at the end of that market session. And so we're sitting there, and of course we're still putting on the same type of asymmetry, very tiny little risk for potentially very large profit. So it's not, we're not like worried or sitting on the edge of our seats and biting our nails and anxious that we might lose. The loss really has nothing to do with it at all. It's more like we're just rooting to see how much we're going to win. Now, that doesn't mean we win all the time, although our success rate now has been very, very good. And as we move further and further down the line and we do more of these trades and employ the inversion of risk principles, the analysis, the market structure, we also bring into this open interest and what some people call max pain. Now, max pain is an interesting concept. And the markets do sometimes end on max pain, but it doesn't always. So we expand the max pain concept to looking for clusters of unusually large open interest areas on certain strikes and certain levels. And we analyze that to give us a better idea of where price is likely to go following this trail of open interest. So that's another little secret that we're developing here and how that works. And that seems to be working very nicely. And today we have a trade on, and right now well, at least I did. I'm not sure how everybody in the group did, because everybody, once they've enveloped and accepted this system, the strategies, the methods, they tend to make it their own and develop their own ideas. But we're all basically doing the same trade, maybe slightly different strikes, different entries, etc. So it's really a marvelous thing. And that's one thing that you'll get when you join the service, is that you'll learn to do this on your own. You'll make it your own. And if you'd like to try out the service, there's a 4-week trial. Go to 0-dte.com/try, TRY. And we have a 4-week trial. Take the trial. After 4 weeks, if you like the service, you'll join the yearly or the quarterly or the monthly plan, and I will rebate the cost of that trial. So the trial is essentially free. If you don't go with the service, the worst that happens is that you get 4 weeks at an incredibly cheap price, the most valuable education you'll ever see in day trading. And trading in general, I think. So anyways, back to 0 hour to expiration. And man, I might make this just a whole new thing. It's just incredible, at least so far. You can't bank an entire trading career on just a few weeks of trial. And the things that we've applied to it certainly are going to be refined over time as we get more and more data in and different types of markets in. So I imagine that that's all going to evolve over time. But so far, things look pretty darn good. And we are in a trade right now. We are looking for that move to come to an LVN level that we picked off earlier today. And if it does that, that'll be very close to what we call our pin trade. That LVN level is, that would result for most people, I think, in about 700 or 800% return on their risk. So that would be very cool. So the earlier trade today, most people got into at least one position. I personally got into 2 positions as things pulled back to broaden the potential outcomes. I already took 1 position off that has now paid for the initial position plus a guaranteed profit. So I am on what we call a free ride. There's another concept that we use. We're always looking to not only get in at small risk with huge potential profit, but if we can pay for the rest of our positions that are remaining, that's even better. That's like 0 risk. So now I'm in a position where I have 0 risk on, guaranteed, no matter what happens, even if price goes haywire and totally outside of our profit tent, I will still come away with at least a profit. However, now I'm in the enviable position where I've got really no carry at all. No care. No care at all. I'm basically rooting for price to get into our projected area where we think it's going to go. And after doing the open interest analysis, I think that it's a solid position. As 3 o'clock comes around, which will be in about 45 minutes, we'll look at a secondary trade, the 0HTE. The 0HTE. We're going to patent that, I think. The 0 hour to expiration trade. And we'll see if we can fine tune where we think price will go. So we may literally pin 2 trades today, the DTE trade and the HTE trade. But we'll see. The HTE trades seem to have a greater propensity to pinning. So far, our pin rate on that is much higher than on the 0 DTE trade. And that really is a function of the amount of time that you give to try to predict where price is likely to go. As price sort of reveals itself throughout the day, you get an idea of what's up with the market and what's its temperament and what is the character. And usually by then, all of the global macro and geopolitical things that could happen have already happened. Now, I understand that the president is supposed to be getting on and start talking about what is his plan for bringing gas prices down. Of course, we know that whatever he does, it's going to be an abject failure because government has no control over where prices go, and anything that they do will turn into doo-doo, as we say. Just let the market decide. For crying out loud. Oh, man. The trade is really developing, and I'm liking this. Sorry, I got distracted. Like I said, we're not sitting here ever, even on days when we haven't a free ride, because our risk is so small. We're not sitting here all anxiety ridden over where price is going to go and whether or not our price is going to be within our wheelhouse, unlike other zero DTE strategies where they're always anxious, right from the very beginning to the end. And it gets worse as the end goes because then they are suffering from the gamma risk, which is even worse. We never have that problem here. So there we are. A new concept, and I'll be talking about it in future episodes where we'll talk about the specifics of the strategy, the 0 hour to expiration strategy here at 0-dte.com. Again, if you'd like to try it out, go to 0-dte.com/try, and we'll see you then. Thank you very much. Peace to you all, and we'll see you next time. Got to get to work here. All right, got to find that off button. It's way up there. There it is.